I was on a SEAL team mission in Somalia when my radio suddenly crackled to life. Private channel. Urgent. A voice said, flat, clinical, like it belonged in a hospital. Your son's in ICU. Severe frostbite. Your ex-husband's new spouse locked him in a commercial freezer for 3 hours. I froze mid-step, rifle pressed to my chest. Frostbite. Freezer. 3 hours. My daughter's soft, trembling sobs leaked faintly through the static. My commander caught the look on my face. Without a word, he barked, "Soldier, 72 hours personal leave. No questions. Move." 4 hours later, I was on a flight home, somewhere over the Atlantic. The anger inside me stopped feeling like emotion. It became methodical, precise, like a mission brief whispered by my own pulse. At the hospital, the antiseptic and metallic smell hit me. It smelled like an operating room abandoned mid-procedure. My son's small hand was wrapped in gauze, the fingertips already darkened underneath. His skin still felt paper-thin. He didn't cry when he saw me. "Mom said not to tell you," he whispered. 6 words that rearranged my entire world. His mother, my ex-wife Julia, the same woman who once called me too cold for family life, too methodical to truly care. The same woman who replaced me with a man who smiled for pictures but flinched at children. I looked at my son's injured fingers, then at the nurse charting his vitals. "Where's Julia?" I asked. "At home," she said softly. "The stepfather's in custody. She's refusing to give a statement." Refusal. In my world, that was as good as a confession. That night, I sat beside my son, listening to his shallow breathing. Each inhale felt like a countdown. The next morning, Julia called. Her voice trembled like a wire about to snap. "I didn't know what he'd do," she said. "I thought he was joking." "You left him in a freezer." I said. Silence. Understanding wasn't the goal. Verification was. I began collecting information, not through soldiers, but through observation and investigation. I hired a private investigator to monitor her house, examine financial records, phone logs. Then I requested hospital footage. For 3 days, I pretended to be an ordinary father, feeding my son, telling him stories, keeping the nurses at ease. Inside, I was running simulations, mapping every possibility, every lie, every move. The footage arrived. At 10:43 p.m., Julia arrived at the hospital alone, hands clean. 6 minutes later, she made a call. 3 minutes after that, she began to cry. Too late. Too perfect. The investigator's final report came sealed. Her phone records confirmed the plan. Weeks of calls between her and her husband's lawyer, discussions about custody and insurance, all calculated to make me look negligent. The freezer wasn't meant to injure him. It was meant to scare me, to make me appear unfit. I didn't confront her in anger. I requested a meeting at Neutral Ground, a small cafe near the courthouse. She wore black, like attending her own funeral. "You look tired," she said. I slid the envelope across the table. Silence. She opened it, her face drained of color. How did you?" she whispered. "I spent a decade extracting people from hell. You really thought I couldn't pull the truth from you?" I said. She trembled. "I didn't know he'd." "You knew enough to delete the messages." I interrupted. Silence. Heavy. Final. The custody hearing was the next morning. Julia didn't appear. Her husband did, handcuffed, head down. The judge reviewed the evidence I had quietly sent to Child Protective Services, the prosecution, and my chain of command. Julia was found later that evening in her car by the pier. Not dead, just vanished into a shame so deep it needed no witnesses. I didn't call her. My revenge wasn't in action. It was in what she saw before walking away. My son's fingers healed enough to move again. "Are you staying this time?" he asked. I nodded, but I knew I wasn't the man who left for Somalia. That man believed in justice. This one believes in truth, and its cost. Weeks later, an unknown number rang. "Julia." I let it ring 4 times. On the 4th, I whispered, 72 hours. The same number I had used to save my son. The same number that had marked her destruction. Then I hung up. Some battles aren't fought with bullets. They're fought in silence. And in that silence, I had already won.